In childhood, I had to be taken out of cinemas in tears because the show overwhelmed me. Long before education and temperament taught me to be a critic, judging whether Hamlet, a Doris Day song, or The Third Man had been well done or not, I had been plunged into the alternative reality on the screen. I longed to be there. This was fantasy, not criticism, and still is. I was told I was too involved with the lives on screen, loving them so much I could not endure their peril. But perhaps I was just empty, anxious to be filled. I wanted heroes, and I preferred them handsome, gentle, and wise, like Lassie or Montgomery Clift in Red River. I waited for movie women who didn't know they were being watched. I tried to be there with them, but I could not get into the screen. One of the few things to trust about the movies is that pictures seen at an impressionable age mean the most. Let us say this span usually lasts from about 5 to 20. But the charm can linger past 75. The children of the dark do not easily give up their secret love or the fear. If you have been moved and formed by movies, don't let an educated, historical, critical approach to them tame the mad experience. If you have been moved, respect that, for the experiment suggests that you exist and are of value. Going to the movies did not permit objectivity or critical intelligence. It was like meeting a stranger and feeling affinity. Kieran Hickey was tall, gaunt, and rather forbidding. His close-cut black hair already had salt in it. He looked at me and demanded, "Well, what do you want to say?" There was an edge of hostility, so I retaliated. His surname was Hickey, and I called him Iceman because I had just seen Eugene O'Neill's The Iceman Cometh in London in 1958, where the character Theodore Hickman is called Hickey. I had sat through the 5 hours of that play, carried along on its roaming speeches. We met in early 1960. It was an exciting time, and it seemed to be ours. The air felt fresh with starting. Some of us were determined to be entering a new world, no longer weighed on by the mistakes of sad elders. That was a vanity, of course, but young generations need that much gasoline vapor to see if they have an engine. There was a feeling in 1960 that change was coming. It was like a panther of the future, coiled and ready to spring. It might be an apocalypse of nuclear testing, or the verdict in the Lady Chatterley's lover trial. It might be the erotic slashing in Psycho, which opened in London in August of that year, or that young, flirty Kennedy, who was elected president in November. In London, people wondered if the burden of winning the Second World War was over at last. This is not being snide about that war. No one doubted that it was a necessity, and the last clear call in history, perhaps. Every war since then has brought disaster and undermined our faith in battle. Why am I giving you history and memoir? Because you cannot get close to movies without grasping the mindset in which they were received. When you go to the movies, you take your history with you. The fantasy is about you. Britain had been depleted by the war and had recovered with invalid slowness. During my childhood, there were untended, bombed houses all over London, and rationing of many foodstuffs that only ceased in the mid-1950s. By then, an awed relaxation was stretching in Britain. The Prime Minister from 1957 onward, Harold Macmillan, made a mocking point of telling his people, the proles, we had never had it so good. For my family and so many others, that was probably true. We were getting used to our National Health Service and the 1944 Education Act. I went to a school, Dulwich College, my parents could not have afforded, so the London County Council paid for me to be there.